avoided it.
So you put down the hole.
I point at it. That thing. Are you stealing my murder hole?
Please slide a hand in your murder hole.
So I think that's pretty much everyone. Everyone notices as this conversation progresses. Jacobus just kind of takes off the crown and just like slowly puts it in his...
Oh yeah, the crown.
Even the little girl's like... Okay, so you guys have the murder hole. So the murder hole, is that the one that has all the books in it?
No, the murder orb.
Oh, the murder orb. Okay.
Leo's
so
murder hole
orb...
is something totally different.
Is that the thing that you had, the murder orb?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
it's the thing I shoved into the hole.
Okay.
Leo's hole.
Okay, so the orb from Temple of Orcus, basically.
The murder orb went into
Okay.
Leo's hole, and that's why it's Leo's murder hole.
Okay, so...
Grab like some books out of there without getting too close to that. But
Okay. So what are you guys doing with these items? So you pull out the orb and you hold it out, and she does not...
Hold on.
I'm just
Slow down.
asking.
Oh.
What are you doing?
I'm standing on the edge and I'm pointing at it.
Okay, so you put down the hole and you point at it, and she kind of leans forward and she's like, okay.
What should we do with that?
It's
What is it?
It was some kind of...
Well, that's what we were.
What do I remember about that? What is it?
You remember everything from the orb.
But I don't remember what the everything was.
You as a person?
Yeah.
You touched it, and you communicated with someone. They answered first in a language you didn't know. I don't remember what was said exactly. It wasn't anything too interesting.
Okay.
Other than you were like, "Who are you?" and they were like, "Who are you?" and then like, they hung up the phone basically. Yeah.
So I butt dialed someone with that orb.
What's butt dialing?
It's what happens when you stick your hand in Leo's murder hole.
Oh my gosh! I keep trying to put her out.
Did she whack you? Or did he whack you?
Okay,
I know.
Focus.
I'm
Focus.
sorry. Okay,
Focus.
sorry. She was the seeking comfort.
Focus.
So I think this is some mechanism to communicate with people, or like a surveillance device of some sort. It's very magical, and it is highly resistant to being touched.
Well, I can't reach it.
Nose goes.
What is Kaga do?
What? He's calling dibs on not being the one to grab it.
I'm gonna side eye him.
And you're looking at the same thing because
And
Can I
she does the same thing.
Can I mage hand it out of there?
How heavy is it?
You can try.
I try.
And it works. You are able to mage hand it
Oh
out.
shit! Why didn't we do that the first time?
I love how
Everybody ready to grab that?
So she kind of curls her hands in as the ball comes floating up. She goes, "So I shouldn't touch it?"
I mean,
I had an adverse response to touching
did
it.
somebody get like super hurt when they touched it the first time too?
Yeah, I think that was me. And Davi lost her mind or something, didn't she?
I became a princess.
Exactly.
And she ends up kind of taking and undoing like a little scarf headband from around her hair, and she covers her hands and she reaches out and takes it from the mage hand, and she lifts it up and holds it there for a moment, and then there's a light flash and it vanishes.
Whoa!
Okay, what else?
Whoa! Hold on. Wait. What are you doing with her stuff?
They're gonna look at it.
But
Okay, who? What? Where?
yeah, like you basically just.
The masters are going to look at it, and they will tell me what it is, and then I will tell you.
And then we get it back if we.
Yeah, you get it back. It's yours. You get it back.
Oh, okay. All right.
These masters would be where now?
They're on the upper floors.
Can we talk to them?
You can. Do you want like a meeting with them?
we speak to your supervisor?
I can ask them. I'll let them know that you want to speak to them.
All right.
What else do you have?
We've got some shackles.
Okay. She holds out her hands.
Don't we know what those do? Do we need to have somebody investigate those?
God, she's like 12. Inappropriate.
She only looks 12. She's Eladrin, so she's like 300.
It's just as bad, dude.
Yes.
Anime is not an excuse.
She's well past the age of Eladrin consent.
Okay.
Hey!
We have the shackles of anti-awesome mage escaping.
That was to secure somebody on this plane. Do we need to look at that?
Yeah, I think we already.
Oh, we already know what that is.
I mean, you give it to her. I don't care. I'm not gonna use them right now.
I'll pull them out, I guess, if you're in the bag of holding.
I
Okay.
think so.
She takes them. Does the same thing. They disappear.
Leo pulls out the elven robes that are super fancy that he found.
She
Like,
ta-
and these are probably good in some kind of way.
And she takes them. She looks at them. These aren't magic. I'm sure.
Not even a little.
Not even a
What about that
little.
shield that
They're
we have?
really old, though.
Jacobus has a.
Older than me.
Oh wow, it's pretty old.
They're really old.
Jackie, let him look at that shield.
Okay, I'll show her the shield.
She takes the shield. Looks at. This isn't magic either.
Jackie, show her the crown.
Yeah, please. She can
What
tell you what it does.
The crown you put in your.
Just facts. Like,
Well, you're stuck in your murder hole.
Long pause.
Tell you what it does.
I already know what it does. I'm going to show you
She takes the mirror. And she looks at it. She kind of tilts her head. Wow. This is really old. Really, really old. This is older than the Master's old. But it's not magic.
I will take it back.
The mirror is not magic?
Nope.
Do you think they would know anything about it? Came from Mage.
I want to say we found another
I don't know. Maybe. I can ask them. If you want me to give them the mirror, I can ask them.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
When are they gonna come talk to us?
I don't know. I'll have to ask them that too. She takes the mirror, holds it up, and it vanishes.
We have this quill. It's a gold feather quill. It's a griffin feather.
Oh, yeah. Leah pulled that out of a bag of holding, I guess. I don't know what anything is. I just assume everything's in a bag of holding.
Yep.
Where's the quill? I totally don't remember the quill.
It was
Okay.
in the,
Yeah, it's. All right.
Oh, okay.
Over under
Takes the
on
quill.
whether it's to be magical or not, since she doesn't remember it.
Looks it over. This isn't magic. You can use it to do magic, though.
like a wand?
Yeah, like a focus.
A quill?
Yeah, well, it's not because it's a quill. It's because it's a griffin feather.
Okay, well, that sounds nerdy. I don't want to do that.
I really want to see
It
Leo
could be really
like
pretty.
bibbity bobbity boo that thing. Like.
What a cool crystal.
Oh, crystals are cool, too. I have these crystals.
That's your focused.
For now.
We already know about
They're
that.
kind of like, I don't want to say prison. They keep me. Anyway, what else did you find?
That's not foreboding.
That's terrifying.
What else did you find?
If somebody was being controlled by an item, did they
Yes.
tell us?
Are you talking about like the kind of item? So
Your head.
How many of us are staring at Jacobus right now?
all of us.
it depends. It depends upon the kind of item. Is it if it's controlling someone and it has a curse, then that could control them. Or if it has been bound with a spirit, then that sometimes sometimes can control them. Usually that kind of influence grows with time. But it depends.
Somebody found an item and then he touched it. And then he all of a sudden wanted to wear it all the time. He was very hesitant to surrender to take it off. And it hides it whenever somebody starts discussing identifying magic items. Does that sound suspicious to you?
I mean, is it pretty? Because if it's pretty, I wouldn't want to share it either.
It is pretty.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
You don't know what we're talking about.
So I think, given that we are getting all this stuff back, Jacobus, I think for everyone involved, it's probably best. I mean, we're getting it back anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, it's your crown. After you look at it.
Listen, if they try to keep it from you, we will get it back for you.
I told you it would come back. I can't lie.
It's not you that I'm worried about, sweetheart.
We're not gonna try to take it from you.
If it actually did anything cool, you probably would have seen you do something with it at this point.
You guys actually have seen me do cool things with it. You just don't know it.
Is it make terrible fashion statements? Is that what the power is?
Okay. Yeah.
I look at it.
Fabulous, Dolly. Fabulous. But I am of a mind that, we should
Jacobus, crown. Come on, crown.
Let's go, Jacob. Let's go.
Okay. So, Jacobus pulls the crown back out of his pack, puts it back in his head, and turns around and walks out of the maid shower.
It is a pretty crown.
Was it
Was it
magic?
I didn't touch it. I don't know. But I will say that when we find old things, we have to let the masters look at them before we're allowed to wear them.
This is a good idea.
That seems pretty sensible.
He touched it, and then he's worn it, and he will not let us mess with it.
Mm.
So while they're finishing the maid shower, he's gonna go back and look for books about the elf candy at the library.
Okay.
You're assuming nobody runs after you and shanks you.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I was thinking about something, but I think that's it. We don't have anything else.
If you
Yeah, do we?
if you need your shackles for him, they should be ready tomorrow.
For him,
Yeah. The crown guy.
That's clever.
He's now forever going to be known as the crown guy. I love it.
He will never forgive us.
Dang.
Yeah, the crown guy. He sits on
What
his
is the
chair.
king?
It's
This
weird.
is Feywild. Well, if he changes his mind and you want the masters to look at the crown, then we really will give it back. We don't lie. I mean, Master Phalar, he can lie. He says he doesn't lie, but we don't lie. And he's just one of the masters, so.
Okay.
Well, you got our number.
All right.
Didn't the queen mention something about getting a favor from the tower or something?
yeah.
What does that usually entail?
What kind of favor?
Yes.
I mean, you can, if the queen, it depends. You have to ask the queen, and if she says that that's acceptable, then we do it. I mean, what do you need? What are you looking for? I can't tell you what you need. I can tell you a lot of things, but I can't tell you what you need. I've tried to do divination a little bit, but I think that's more of a divine thing. I haven't had a lot of luck with it.
So, how about transmutation?
I'm pretty good at transmutation.
So let's say
Have you seen me turn into a cat?
yes.
You have.
Maybe. Okay. So let's say we had an animal of a particular breed, and
Okay.
you wanted to perhaps convert it into an animal of a different breed.
Okay.
Leave the dragon alone.
Would that sort of thing be possible?
Well, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to
Boss of dragon.
So let's
Change.
say you had a red dog.
change its essence or its
Breathes
form?
fire.
Wait, it's essence or it's what now?
It's essence or it's form.
It's essence.
Essence.
I mean, yeah, you could do that because I changed my essence and you change your essence, right? I've touched you. I know your magic. God, perfect. Of all the things, I can't introduce children into the campaign.
12-year-old.
I'm role playing.
Roleplay something else.
Even the Feywild has lines,
Listen,
Scott.
the point is, I am no way associating this with a child. It's just the line was said, and I had no other choice but to react.
But you do.
I had
You do
no.
have a
I'm sorry.
choice.
I'm sorry.
Down that fast, you're gonna get your ass kicked.
I'm sorry.
Job will kill you.
Okay.
So, I
So
want to find more information about this tower too.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Not this tower, but
Oh.
the tower you just came from.
Oh. Well, I don't know where you came from.
Mage's tower.
Who?
Any arms tower.
I don't know who that is. There isn't a mage in Yarv. In the Unseelie court, at least.
There was.
We know
There's a lich.
everyone. Ooh, there are no liches in the Feywild.
Yes.
Okay.
for how long?
For as long as I've known. Every mage is a member of the tower, either of the Unseelie or Seelie court. It's the rules. Even if you're accidentally a mage, even if you just wake up one day and you find out you have powers, then you have to come live here. That's the rules. And then one day when you're big and you're strong and you're powerful and you're safe, then you can go. But that's no. There are no liches in the Feywild. We're
Interesting.
not allowed to study anything like that. That is an affront to everything that Coralon stands for.
So
What if somebody's a lich on another plane and go to the Feywild? Would you know?
I wouldn't. The queen might. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if she would know or not. You would have to ask her. But a lot of people do come and go from the Feywild. There are places where the veil is thin.
But there can be a lich.
So you could definitely liches it.
Did you know that there are even whole cities of elves that can come and go from the Feywild? It's pretty cool.
You do.
I've never done that though.
You know?
I am an Eladrin. It's kind of like an elf. But I have a soul.
Library here?
There is one. The Mage Tower has a library, yes.
Can we get access to it?
Probably not. But if you ask for a book, they may be able to give it to you.
Can you have them look for any books on any arts tower?
Sure, I can ask them that.
And all liches in the Feywild?
Sure, I can ask them that.
Gonna get
And on
recipes.
crowns that look like the one he had.
I can ask them that.
There's more than one way to skin a cat.
They have a lot of information because they are the ones that figure out all the things that have to do with like the prime material plane and the Shadowfell, and they kind of keep an eye on everything going on with the different planes around us. So they might know. I don't know. I'm just still learning magic. I'm not learning that kind of stuff yet. But they might know. They know everything. They're really smart.
I'm gonna I don't really have anything else to do here, so I'm gonna kind of wander back to the
Okay.
because I don't have anything to ask them or anything like that.
All right.
So, could you permanently change the essence of a magical creature?
Could I or
Well,
could someone?
could the Mage Tower through a favor granted by the Queen?
I mean, I think you could maybe. Are you familiar with the idea of reincarnation?
And yes.
So when someone is reincarnated, their soul is taken and given into an entirely new form. And if that's possible, then as far as I can tell, I can't see why one creature would not be able to permanently transform into a different one. After all, when the Eldrin were made, we were all forced into permanent forms, right? Well, some of us. I guess not all. That's not fair.
So, but now the concern is that. So does your essence follow your form, or does your form follow your essence?
That's difficult. It depends upon the type of magic. And it's especially difficult here because it depends upon what you're dealing with, true. Because if you're an Eldrin, then your form follows your environment and your essence follows your form.
When will we be able to meet with the guys upstairs?
I don't know. I'll ask them, but I don't know. I don't get to make a lot of choices. I just answer questions.
Will they send us word?
I don't know. Maybe. It kind of depends upon what mood they're in.
Well, we're here to protect this area from demon incursions, and there's demons attacking. It's quickest threat in this security of this whole
I have heard that. I have heard that. Some of them think you're going to die.
Yeah.
Hopefully
We
we
haven't
take
yet.
out whatever it is first. But
No, not here.
if they can help us, then that would be a very good thing.
Okay, I'll let them know. Some of them think you brought the demons.
No. Breeza brought us.
Well, they told me you're liars.
No, I think the demons were here before we ever got here.
Tell you this, I'm no liar. A lot of things, not a lot.
I would like to believe you, but I do know you're from the material plane.
Super awkward.
I'll ask him though. And if you like letters, I'll ask them if I can write you a letter to tell you when you can meet with them.
That would be lovely.
I'll even draw you a picture.
So if I say had a dragon, just as a theoretical example.
There are no dragons. There are no dragons in the Feywild.
Ah, incorrect.
Nope, no dragons. There used to be dragons, but we chased them all out.
Well, Breeza brought a dragon. It is sitting in the courtyard right now.
The queen is going to kill her.
What?
There are no dragons in the Feywild. She knows that. You're not supposed to bring dragons into the Feywild.
She's gonna kill Breeza
Maybe.
or the dragon?
Maybe both. It depends on her mood. Have you seen her menagerie?
Oh
It's all
god.
the animals and people under the court.
Oh god, I have to go to the queen right now.
Kaga's got an erection.
One more thing. When you're
Yes.
asking for the books,
Mhm.
can I get a book on curing lycanthropy?
Sure.
I am currently speed walking.
And that's how Dobby clears the room.
No, I was speed walking once I found out that there was possible threat
Okay.
to my
Okay.
baby.
I can ask them about that too. But if you want to know about lycanthropy, then the real people to ask are the Lothari.
Who are the Lothari?
They're the wolf elves. Or Eladrin. You call them elves, but they're the wolf Eladrin. They live in the winter court, and they are... What is the nice word for it? They don't wear
We know what the Lothari are.
a lot of clothes, and they're very wild, and they like to be wolves, and they don't use weapons, and they hunt in packs, and they're all...
Can you tell if somebody's got lycanthropy touching?
No. Well, I don't know. I've never tried. I don't think so. I think that would be something different. I think it would be hard to tell because it is magical, but I don't know if I could just tell from if I could tell what kind of magical it was. I'm not that good yet. It's kind of like when I touch, I can see if it's warm, and then I know if it has that. But I don't know yet if it's like warm for why. But I'll get there. And if I get there, if I can figure it out, if they can teach me, then I'll let you know. ask them about that too. Yes. I don't know anything about that stuff, but there are people here who do. You know, everybody specializes. Oh, that's why you're magical. That makes sense. Okay. Well, I'll ask them. Everybody here specializes and does different things, and I like changing things. But there are people who like healing people, so they probably have stuff on that. I'll ask them. I'll ask them.
Lovely. Thank you.
All right. Oh, do you have anything else?
Things back.
Okay. I'll let you know when they're ready.
Thank you.
Okay. If you find anything else interesting, you can come back. I'm always here.
Okay.
Even at night. So you can come back. I'll be here. Okay.
Here.
Okay, bye. Okay. So, Jacobus, you're looking up Celadrin?
Yeah, absolutely. I can find about them.
Okay. You find quite a few. A number of books about Celadrin. In terms of like if you have something that you're kind of skimming for, you can roll an investigation check and I can try to fill in some blanks. But in terms of like reading in depth or like what subjects you're trying to cover, you know, if you let me know, then I can like try to get you info when I can.
So I will absolutely butcher the names, but looking for the names either Fenmarel or Dayheadin or
Okay, hold on. Derp, 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 derp. Let me look at my gigantic sheet of Elven Pantheon people. Okay. Okay, so you find quite a lot on Sahanine. Most of it are things that don't really surprise you. It's a lot of confirmation of things that you've already found out. That she is called the Moon Goddess. That she is extremely close to Coralon. That she has, you know, been around since the creation of the Celadrin. That she at one point merged with two of the other goddesses to kind of, you know, like form this mega goddess to like fight at Coralon's side. That she has made a lot of sacrifices to defend him. She appears to be the most powerful female elven goddess. And they note that even on the prime material plane, she continues to have a lot of the more minor Celadrin have been lost in the pantheon of the prime material plane, Sahanine is like widely worshipped by the elves.
anything about her followers in Feywild?
Not much. It does note that she is extremely against undead and that those in the Feywild kind of continue to take up this mantle. It does note that you do have the cult of, or I guess the church of her followers that do live under the ground in the Feydark, and that they shift between planes. And they seek that many moons ago, when you know the elves moved to the prime material plane, and their gift from Sahanine, this ability to all of the vampiric-esque traits that the her followers in the Feywild retain, that at one point they were taken by a mage and kind of ripped from them magically and bastardized and turned into what the prime material plane now knows to be vampirism. And because of this bastardization of her gift, this Feywild cult views it as their life's goal to stamp out, especially because it's kind of become this undead trait, just completely bashing everything that Sahanine stands for. They do prey upon those individuals. They take it to get into the courts where these people are ruling, where they're being influencers, and they are essentially vampire hunters. But not much beyond that, just kind of that they are seeking to, that they view it as, once again, the human world has taken the gifts of the elves and turned them into trash, and so we got to set it right because the humans are messing up everything kind of dialogue. There we go. Hold on. Sorry, I have a bajillion notes. Oh my gosh, I know I have it here somewhere. Okay. So, let me double check real quick. I am so sorry, there are a bajillion. Okay, so Finmarel is one of the lesser deities. It's you pick up that he is very aloof. He is not, he doesn't have there isn't as much to be found on him. You do know that they note that there are wild elves in the prime material plane that continue to follow him, and that the Lothari are continue to be followers of his teaching. But it's noted that he is he's noted as being not as faithful to Coralon and having stumbled in his ways, and because of that fell from favor and popularity, and yeah, it is definitely a smaller excerpt, almost oddly so.
Okay, the other two things I guess that I want to skim for is I want to skim for the name Arashi,
Okay.
but more specifically, I want to see if there's anything in the books about Coralon being betrayed by anybody, whether it's Arashi or a different name.
Okay, roll investigation check.
Better than my sleight of hand.
Respectable.
The only person that you find that Coralon was betrayed by was Loth.
Does this book give any detail about that betrayal?
It does not.
It doesn't name anybody else that was associated.
It refers to Loth and her vile assistants.
Does Jacobus know who Loth is?
Yeah. I think everyone would, yeah, that she's a pretty prominent person. So,
I think
That's
that
a drought.
yes.
yes. So if there's anybody in the building aside from her, they hear whatever the tiefling equivalent of Eureka.
That would be Eurolith.
Lily's gonna be startled. Because she was just chilling in the atrium.
Abyssal. Hello there.
Did Earless not go to the tower?
She left.
Understands Abyssal, so, you know, she speaks Abyssal now, so she would have understood that it was a Eureka, but she still would have been startled.
Oh. Okay. Anything else, Jacobus?
No.
Okay. Cog, what are you doing?
I'm trying to get into the council courtyard.
Okay, you go into the courtyard. Two guards
What?
are standing guard at the bottom of the stairs.
Can I see where we were standing where we saw Breeza?
Yes.
Is she there?
No.
Is anything there?
No.
Alright, I go up to the guards. Where is Breeza?
Who?
The lady with the dragon.
She's
The-
meeting with the queen.
The hag. How long ago did she start meeting with her?
I don't know. Time.
But do you even words? So I switch into Sylvan. Like, I need to speak with the queen immediately.
And he becomes a little bit more receptive as you switch into Sylvan. I don't stand here and count the hours. Do you know how long and monotonous that would make my day?
I suppose that's fair.
A while.
I
She has
respect
been
that.
meeting with her for a while.
Fair enough. Is there any... I need to see her.
Breeza?
No, the queen. In regards to Breeza.
I can let her know that you came seeking audience.
Is there no way I can see her now? I'm very concerned that Breeza might be up to something.
Very well. I will ask. And he heads up. Wait. Roll a persuasion check.
Ah! I thought I had
Let me
it.
bag this up. Hold on.
Wait. You forgot to DM for me.
Hold on.
I
was just roleplay.
succeeded on my persuasion check on the DM. It should work. Do I get advantage?
No.
Ah!
Now you have to roll with
She's been
disadvantage.
It's decent.
I'm sure that whatever you have that's so important can wait.
I'm sorry. I respect you and your traditions very deeply, but while you were standing here, I was climbing through demons underground in some lich's tower and killing orcs. Again, I respect your traditions, but I think around here we've accomplished enough to show that we should carry some clout in our request to protect the queen.
Wow.
As I have said, I will send her word that you would like to meet with her. You say it is with regards to Breeza. Are there any more specifications you would like to offer?
I'm concerned about the dragon she's brought into the Feywild.
As is the Queen.
Why are there no dragons in the Feywild?
Have you ever met a dragon?
Once or twice.
Then I think that is a pretty self-explanatory question. Dragons are arrogant and
I'm gonna start.
conquering.
He's gonna start talking. I'm gonna give him the.
and conquering. And they have no place here. They sought to take over the Feywild, not co-inhabit it. So they were sent away. Only the Fey dragons remain. The fairy dragons.
I suppose since we're now in a standoff, you and I, I'll share with you my concept. But given our dire straits and the fact that there are demons pouring out of the abyss into our current plane of existence, which I imagine you can agree is concerning.
Cat is really laying it on thick with the sky, isn't he?
Being able to harness the power of a dragon who is not bound by the environment like the people of the Feywild are blessed with.
What makes you think it isn't bound by the environment?
If it was bound by the environment, it would have no problem living here. You wouldn't have pushed it out. It would just be a subject.
I think you misunderstand the nature of the environment and its influence in the Feywild, but please continue.
Interesting. But a dragon raised to respect the ways of the Feywild could be a powerful tool should this situation roll up to our doorstep.
And you realize it is a red dragon, correct?
Yes, but if there were a possibility that we could work with the Mage Tower to change the essence of the chromatic dragon to that of a metallic, we would have less concern, I imagine.
It is an interesting proposition.
And given that we have the favor of a queen, I imagine the Mage Tower would be highly encouraged to do such a thing, should she value it as an asset in this struggle.
I will pass your suggestion on to the Queen, and I will let her know what your concerns are. And if she sees fit to take your judgment into account on whatever it is she is deciding how she has chosen to handle the situation, then she will do so. But that is the most that I can offer you for now.
Excellent. And what's your name?
Cade. See, my name stickies that came in handy.
Cade. Oh, I need to write that
And
down.
now I have to write down what more things got.
Fuck, where are the notes?
I'm Court de Garde.
Peter. Frederick.
Well, it is a pleasure, and I appreciate your concern for the current state of things.
Yes, well, I look forward to the fantastically legendary tales they will tell me of your greatness and the orcs you have defeated.
Well, if this plan works out, I'll make sure your name is mentioned in the use a dragon as a weapon concept.
Oh, I look forward to it.
All right then. Well, thank you again.
All right.
I turn and I move off to the academy.
And he motions over a guard, and as you leave, you do see him speak with him, and the guard heads up the stairs. So.
If anyone's listening up there right now, I really want you to know this is important for if what Breeza is saying is true, we're going to need some really big guns. And just, you know, if you can sway this, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay. So, Dobby and Leo, you headed back to the academy?
Yeah.
All right.
Bobby wants to do some research in the library on that goddess that she.
Okay. Well, Jacobus already has a book on the Celadrin when you get back, so unless he still got it with that pulled out.
He will definitely share with Dobby, his favorite dwarf, who won't let go of his crown.
She's not taking his crown. She promised him.
Okay, so you start looking through the books for Avishel. You come to find that Avishel is actually known as Avishel and Quicksilver. That they, unlike most Celadrin, they weren't around when they're referred to as Quicksilver. They're often referred to as a masculine entity. When they're referred to as Avishel, they're often referred to as a feminine entity. But you're actually finding that that's true for a lot of the Celadrin. There seems to be a continuous gender fluidity going on here. Avishel, unlike the other Celadrin, though, wasn't around. They're considered a newer entity that nobody really knows where they came from. They just kind of showed up one day. And all of a sudden, Quicksilver started appearing in all of these legends and these interactions with elves and this, that, and the other. And when questioned, just kind of acted like they'd always been there. You know, but with the older legends dealing with, the creation of the prime-material plane and the movement from the Eladrin to becoming elves, they're not there. It does say that in either Avishel or Quicksilver, they are almost always accompanied by a fey dragon, a fairy dragon. But that is as much as you can get. They very much like humor. They're favored by bards quite frequently. They like witty and trickery and travel and charm and very chaotic good kind of nature. You know, they very much inhabit that prankster kind of side of the Feywild. You know, they like to tease people, but it's never malicious. It's just kind of this fun, loving, lighten it up. You only live once. They're like the YOLO Celadrin. So, but there's definitely some mystery as to, like, there's some suspect that, well, could it have been another Celadrin that has reframed themselves as this god? You know, where is their origin? And nobody really seems to have that answer. have you head back to the academy?
Yep.
Anything from anyone else? Okay.
Fearless
So.
is gonna.
Okay.
I guess
He doesn't really have anything to do, so he's gonna.
I'm gonna go rest.
Okay. You guys all head up, start hanging around in the academy. Sometime later, after you've had your final meal of the day and you're all starting to turn in, there is a knock at the door.
I remain motionless in my bed.
You what?
I remain motionless in my bed.
Davi, you answer it, and it's actually Velace at the door.
Baylays.
Da-ba-da-ba-da. Let me find him.
He's one of the guys from the council.
Mm-hmm.
Which one? Is that the dragon guy or no? That was an elf.
It is the individual. It is the individual with scales. You open the door, and he's this standing before you now. He's a little shorter. He's definitely human size, but he's a shorter guy. Probably at like 5'6". He's got the short cropped hair. He's got the little bit of golden scales sticking up, and almost the reptilian like yellow eyes. And you open the door, and he's got his hands clasped before you. He goes, "Good evening.
Hello.
I hope I'm not disturbing you."
Oh, come on in.
Thank you. Dips his head politely and steps on in. He looks around. You've done a lot with this place. It looks much less empty than last I was here.
Yeah, pretty nice. Would you like anything to drink? I got some ale.
Oh, no thank you, though I appreciate it. Have your...
For earless?
As much as I wish I would, I still need to take her up on our time, but there was another who came by the court, speaking of a dragon.
Oh, God. Dobby had this major insight into him.
Yes. She spotted the scales along his neck.
And the reason why she can say it is because you told Earless about it already.
Yeah. So, are you a dragon?
Jesus.
That's a forward question.
Well, you got scales.
Can't just ask people that.
So does your friend.
Yeah, she does. And she's a dragonkin, but she's not a dragon.
What's the difference?
It's a real damn good question. I don't know. Does Dobby know the answer?
Probably not necessarily, That's something. Yeah, right.
I think dragonkin are supposed to be pretty rare in.
Yeah, they are pretty
realms.
rare. Perhaps that's a question I can ask her over to you then. A personal one, I'll have it, but
Yeah, she'd be a better one to talk to about that.
I'm very fascinated. I would love to hear more.
Okay,
So who was it then? There was an inquiry regarding a dragon and perhaps utilizing it for some means in your quest?
using the dragon in our quest.
A plan?
Yeah, Dobby knows nothing about that, okay? Good job.
I think we were concerned about Breeze's intent with it.
Well, Breeze.
Somebody get me! Somebody get me right now!
I don't trust Breeze.
Earless is gonna wander out of the atrium into the foyer and, greet Velace.
I demand someone gets my character.
And as you come into the atrium, Vele steps aside from Dobby, folds his arm, and gives a very regal bow.
Dobby's just gonna shake her head at Earless.
It's a pleasure to see you again.
Hello.
Have you given some thought to my request for your time?
I mean, absolutely. I think that would be not a problem as long as we were here and not in the middle of, fighting
He's
back
real
demon
curious about
incursions.
what dragonkin are. You two flirt.
Yes.
I'm gonna go find Cag.
Yes.
You're gonna go find Cat for?
Because he's created some problem. Because he is a problem. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Best damn problem you guys
So-
have.
Okay.
Tell
Hmm.
me.
roll my eyes. You know, it would be CAG causing a problem.
So
Hold
V
on,
tells
stop.
me.
Wait, let's have an out of character discussion about this. The dude that won't give up his crown is not the largest problem right now.
Dobby is not
Like,
100% not the
if
biggest
Craig
problem
didn't
in our
leave the
party.
door unlocked, she's gonna barge in, and he's probably naked.
That's just life now.
finally, you've arrived.
She's gonna march right in. She's gonna grab him by the ear. She's gonna get your ass down here now.
He's going to swat her hand. I'm sorry.
What the hell did you do?
I'm sorry. You may have forgotten that we're on the same team. What is going on?
We are, and you apparently went off and told somebody that we need the damn dragon.
I didn't say we need the dragon.
Dragon.
I said we could use the dragon.
No, we can't. It's a fucking red dragon. They're evil.
It doesn't have to stay a red dragon. We're in the Feywild. We have literally some of the most powerful beings across the plains living here. If you're concerned with a simple...
And go downstairs and talk to the Queen's guy. I'm going to go get Jackie and Leo because maybe there'll be somebody who can help me talk some freaking sense into you.
Cheers. Go find a crowd.
Meanwhile, Veles is circling you, Eurolith, just like looking you over from head to toe.
Okay.
I'm certain.
Not on my own.
I'm certain you hear this all the time, but you truly are a magnificent creature.
Yerith is being sharked right now.
Thank you so much. I mean, strangely, I don't hear it very often, but every
It's-
now and again it seems to be quite the conversation. Here, anyway.
No doubt.
Where I'm from.
No doubt because of the prime material plane. So much is taken for granted there, but you are the epitome of adaptation and survival.
Hey, I mean, yeah, I guess. I didn't do anything special.
But how wonderful, how wondrous for you to have come so far. Tell me, what is the relationship like on the material plane between dragons and dragonkin?
I presume that Earlith would know that.
Yes. So to your knowledge, it varies. Dragonkin are just like people. They come in all shapes and, varieties. There are those who do follow dragons, who kind of serve them cultishly, and then there are those who recognize the flaws of dragons and are not keen on becoming their servants. So,
I mean, Dragonborn or Dragonkin are a lot like other types of people. I mean, there are definitely some of us that follow dragons, but then there are others of us who we've struck out on our own path, and we understand that dragons have some
don't we all? So what brings you to the Feywild? Just seeking demons?
well, I mean, it was an accident. Okay,
Yes,
no,
Breeza.
accident. Yeah, they knew it was an accident. But we've said that from the beginning. I mean, we happen to have some knowledge and have some experience and thought we could be helpful since we're here.
I see.
And I just like to go on adventures, so I struck in with these folks.
That is certainly something I can relate to. It's been a while since I had a good adventure.
I mean, yeah. I guess if you get stuck up at court all the time, then probably you don't get much chance for adventure.
That is certainly true. Though they do need me right now, but hopefully that'll be short-lived if you're able to complete your quest. So, Cog,
I am
you make it downstairs.
coming down the stairs barefoot wearing a silk robe.
Ah,
Earlith is gonna take in his outfit and just roll her eyes.
perhaps you can help me then.
Obviously.
It has been brought to my attention that someone had words regarding the dragon.
Yes. I was curious as to what the queen's intent or decision was to be with the dragon.
Her intention is to kill it naturally.
Is what I was concerned about. Did she perhaps hear of the plan that I suggested?
She heard that you believe it could be of use.
Yes. And?
Please elaborate.
So, everyone's greatest concern with the dragon is that it is a chromatic dragon.
Birth of evil itself, yes.
Yes. But after having a conversation with some of the individuals, an individual at the Mage Tower, a change of essence may make that part of the dragon insignificant, of inconsequential. Like it if we render that concern away and change the essence of that of something that is a good creature, would there continue to be concern?
I think that the flaw in your logic comes from the idea of viewing the dragon as a creature. They're sentient beings. It's not as simple as changing a cat into a horse and then seeing if it continues to lick itself and paw or if it eventually adapts to the new form.
I'm under no illusion that this would be an easy thing. I imagine there would need to be a great deal of research and a great deal of work to do this. And regardless, the creature is too young to be of any significant use right now. But it would be nice, given the uncontrolled descent of the plains of the abyss into the Feywild, to have a backup plan should we need a large creature that can serve as, let's say, artillery support.
Now, if you're suggesting that we take the dragon and unleash it into the abyss, now that is something that I am all in favor of, because either way it handles itself. But here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
What is it they call them? Drow. If someone took a drow and changed them into an elf, do you think that would be possible? Do you think you could rework all of their nature and suddenly turn them into a being of good?
Well, now we're discussing whether we believe that it is the drow's nature or it is the drow's upbringing that governs how they are.
Well, what do you believe?
I believe it is their upbringing.
Well, then I'm afraid there we disagree.
Earlith is just gonna be staring at Meg in kind of a mild disbelief because I mean, like, oh boy.
Is Dobby back? She was just gonna
Sure.
bang on doors and come back.
Yes. It is my
Or Jackie come.
But Jackie will be there.
It is my belief that there are certain roles to be filled in existence, and when there is a vacancy, someone rises to the occasion. In the Feywild, in particular, I find this to be true. The Feywild is a sort of anchor for reality, should we say. The persistent states here are the ones that allow the flux nature of the prime material plane. I believe that a red dragon is innately evil, as that is the purpose it was created for by its evil gods.
And if we could, given the state of things, given the unique nature of our situation, you don't see the advantage in figuring out a way to turn the minions and creations of evil gods against them.
The gods that we're dealing with, we're not dealing with evil. For one, I think it would be extremely difficult. How quickly could I turn you against your gods?
You would like to kill me trying.
See, precisely. For one, we're not dealing with evil dragon gods. If it's a dragon that you are so interested in recruiting, then perhaps you should seek a way to elicit the aid of a copper dragon or a silver dragon or a more reasonable creature. But these red dragons are by nature abominations.
When he says copper dragon, she just
So,
she's gonna walk over to Earlet and elbow her.
just, Fearless is just gonna look down at Dobby like, oh my gosh, she has no chill. She has no chill. She has no chill whatsoever.
In the example where you were to turn me against my friends here, and likely kill me attempting, is there any difference in the outcome you project now? What's the difference between trying and failing, resulting in this creature's death? This uncontrolled creature of evil, as you described it as,
So
isn't even the slimmest chance of being able to gain an ally like this worth it?
what you are proposing then? Are you suggesting that you argue that it is nurture, not nature?
Yes.
Is your proposition then that we treat it kindly and hope that it will not turn to devour us all one day?
No. I believe that it will have its urges. I believe it will have its own passions and desires to hoard and very likely to hunt. But if you can carry the virtue of loyalty, of friendship to such a creature, whether through word or action or magical influence, I think that might be enough. There are people in this room who, while we are all friends, aren't exactly the most reliable people in the world. But we still do well together.
Literally everybody in the room looks
Don't look
to
at
Cat like,
And yet the difference between you and Red Dragon is the Red Dragon doesn't want friends, it wants servants.
That could probably be said of his friends too.
I mean, one of us wears a crown all the time.
trying to get us to call him a king. So,
Is it, at the very least, not an interesting thought experiment?
Why are you so invested in this fiend?
Because I was the one who helped carry it out of where we found it,
out of a very evil place.
where it would have led a very twisted and destructive life, and we changed the path of that hatchling, of that egg when we found it.
By giving it to a hag.
And I was convinced to pass off that egg, and then we were thrust by that person into the Feywild here. And now I see an opportunity to take advantage of the chance we had to change the destiny of this creature.
I find your faith endearing. You see yourself set on a stage with the possibility of changing your stars. And that is intriguing. If nothing else, an entertaining show to watch it unfold. So I will make you a deal. The dragon stays here. The dragon remains confined within certain parameters that I will determine. I don't believe you. I don't think this will work. In fact, I would go so far as to say I know this won't work. And you will have to take me at my word when I say I know far more about this subject than you do. But
He does.
Dobby.
I will give you your time to play. I will give you your time to speak with the creature, see what it has to say, see what you can determine, impress me, research, show me what you can find. Find me some example of anything to suggest that this might prove a fruitful experiment. But for the time being, the dragon will live.
I appreciate your even the slimmest vote of confidence from you.
Now, if you can hold off the demons for a couple hundred years so it can reach maturity, that would be fantastic.
Well, we may have to apply other methods given the flow of time here.
Oh, you have other plans. I look forward. This is going to be quite an adventurous endeavor you're taking on. Time, form, essence. You must be very powerful.
I'm none of those things, but I will do what I can, and if I fail, then the dragon dies.
I appreciate a good trial. Very well. Is there anything else that I can aid you with? Or should I take my leave?
Sure you don't want some ale?
Oh, I appreciate it, but I'm afraid that I have a patrol to run.
Come on by sometime. We'll sit and share a pint.
And he looks at Eurlith at that and goes, I will certainly be back.
Hey.
Even drag her along.
Oh my lord.
Places an arm, and offers a bow. It has been my pleasure. I look forward to seeing you again.
Your list is similar sort of how it's
Be well.
Good to see you, friend.
And he turns and leaves.
Javi will elbow Jackie now. Hey, you got more research to do to help him.
I got a motherfucking dragon!
Crazy, but we gotta help him. He's our friend.
Alright, where are we keeping this?
I like how the answer was, we won't kill the dragon. And Kyle's like, I got a dragon!
No, you don't.
No, it has to stay here.
Try to help you 'cause you're on some fool's errand, but here we go.
We're gonna get to watch its first flight. It's gonna be amazing.
Couldn't you have picked like a freaking gold or copper or
Well, I didn't really have the option at the time, and if what Breeze is saying is true, there probably aren't many of them left.
any metallic?
It-
Even that copper dragon that just walked out the door.
What?
The hell, you hadn't noticed?
What are you talking about?
pretty sure.
That's him. You think you know stuff about dragons?
No, I know that I know nothing about dragons, but I know a little bit about essence.
Alright, I'll have
Can
to
we
help you.
reasonably theorize that Peleus is a Fey dragon?
You don't know. All you know is that he has copper scales on his neck.
You need to do a sleight of hand check on his death hole, and then you'll figure it out.
Wow. I mean, given the information that we have,
If
it's not an unreasonable theory.
it is not an unreasonable theory. I can neither confirm nor deny, but I can see how Eurlith could draw that conclusion.
Alright, does this place have a basement?
Wait, yes it does, but wait, does Eurlith have any knowledge of, Eurlith is dragonkin, so what would she know about Fey dragons?
Probably not a whole lot. There aren't any fairy dragons in the material plane, and that really has a lot to do with what the nature of her upbringing and culture was. There are dragonkin that are just living their best dragonkin life and staying away from dragons, and then there are those that kind of have like cultish followings of dragons. So it's kind of a question of, what is Eurlith's religion? Does she follow the dragon pantheon?
So she grew up in a dragon city, or a dragonborn city, and she is not the highest, but noble for sure. So I don't know what that would be.
So she grew up in a dragonborn society. Even if she herself is not religious, I think it would be fair to say that she had enough interaction with the, with people who were to know a little bit about what's going on. Fairy dragons, let me double check, but I'm pretty sure they're actually not considered dragons. They're very much a hybrid kind of creature, which is why they are still in the Feywild. No, this does call them dragon. Okay. Still not something she would necessarily be familiar with, given that it's kind of in the same way that, you have wolves in the Prime Material plane, and then you have, like, the moss wolves over here. Like, there are some similarities, but fairy dragons are small. They are the house cats of the lion world, so they're not as intelligent, as conniving. They're the same kind of mischievous as the rest of the Fae. Which, just from being around, she probably would have picked that up, but it's they are very different from the dragons that have kind of all been sent out into the Prime Material world. So, but she,
An unreasonable conclusion to draw.
no, not an unreasonable conclusion. She would, especially with the Mage Tower girl having said there are no dragons here, only fairy dragons remain. So not an unreasonable conclusion. Yurlith would definitely know that, much like all of the other humanoid pantheons, there are good dragon gods and bad dragon gods, and the chromatic follow the bad dragon gods, the metallic follow the good dragon gods. So this individual coming and saying, but it's a metallic dragon, is very much in line with what Davi's been saying of, like, no, but, like, it is evil, like it is the drow. So
Yep. Okay. Got it.
even to the point that dragonkin who are metallic in color are often less well received by other societies, because they too are viewed, like, humans think, oh my gosh, well, they're from the evil dragons, which is not necessarily true, because you guys obviously have a lot more agency.
Yeah.
So
This earless is totally blue.
yes. Exactly. So
I'm gonna start spreading rumors that Earlith has been converted.
Yeah. No.
so
Does Davi know much about copper dragons?
roll a history check. Not too much. Hold on. You obviously know that they are good, as far as dragons go. Hold on. They are known to be mischievous, and playful, adventurous, but not just kind of more social than the other types of chromatic dragons. But that's just kind of, those are the stereotypes that you've picked up. Nothing too in depth. Good vibes.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys doing now? As you all gather the foyer.
Well, aren't we supposed to rest and then go help Harris with whatever he's doing? And
Yes. Where are we going again?
and are we expecting to hear from the Mage Tower before we leave, or do we just, what is the deal with that?
I hope so, because I gotta work with them to figure out how the hell we're gonna work with this dragon. Make good dragon pills or something.
Well, I mean, from my understanding, Harris's issue was pressing, so we really
That's true.
couldn't just hang around for 2 weeks.
We should probably rest.
So.
I agree.
So what are you guys doing? Where are you going from here? I think at this point it's like after the third meal, so
Also, Kag, why were you asking about a basement?
We need to figure out where we're keeping this dragon.
The fort is keeping the dragon.
At the Queen's place.
He said here.
Not keeping it here.
No. He meant here in the autumn port.
He said specifically here.
No, not here. Not here.
The words he said the words he used was here. He didn't say here in the autumn court. He didn't say
To be here all the time, and I'm not coming back to a flattened place that's burnt down
It's a baby.
Our freaking experiment failed.
It's just a
We're
baby.
not keeping a red dragon in the academy.
What she
It's
said.
not gonna happen.
She said.
Okay.
Walk over to the.
You can tell the queen that she can't put it here
No,
if
no, no,
she
no,
wants to.
Bree.
The queen
Pretend you're a
wasn't
bear.
ever
You
gonna.
don't fit in.
Listen, if his insinuation was that it was coming here, you can go on and tell the queen no. That's all I'm saying.
Assure you that was not his insinuation, and that was not at all.
That's-
his intention. I have spoken with him more than you have, and I know.
That's like 30 seconds of me walking down the stairs.
He likes her.
Listen,
You can't just make up reasons to be right. That's not how this works. Regardless, it will end how it ends. But, again, if you would like to tell the queen how she is going to keep this dragon, that is fine by me.
the
I'm not
queen
telling the queen how to keep this.
Well, there we go.
Dragon.
Should you have misunderstood, we should probably have a plan. That's all I'm saying.
We should have a plan.
But
We'll
I
help
tell
you
you what,
research
Kat,
it.
you go on down to the basement, you get it ready for that baby dragon, okay?
That's fine. I have no complaints with this. The only people bitching here are you. And with that, I go off to the library, and I start frantically pulling books off the shelf trying to find shit.
About dragons.
Yes.
Okay. I will get back to you on
You're
dragons.
not gonna try to ask me about dragons, and I am the one who should be the most knowledgeable about dragons.
You're not a dragon.
I'm a freaking dragonborn.
But that's not a dragon.
But I know.
We already established that you know about
It's a
English
hell of a
dragons.
lot closer to a dragon than you are.
That's like asking her about lizards.
That's just rude.
I'm going to bed. I'm gonna go drink. I'm going to my car.
Okay, guys. I'm gonna brain check on your red dragon stuff,
That's fine.
and I'll get you info on that.
Yeah, because nobody.
Because I am not prepared. So, you guys, go rest. An eventful night.
Have to rest or whatever. No, I guess he does. 'Cause he's
Yeah, it's just Rafferty. Rafferty sits around and stares at the wall. he goes to the nightclubs and scours the house trying to find his bag.
Why would he go to the nightclubs looking for his bag?
No, I just mean no. He just goes and like parties while you guys sleep, and then comes back and looks for his bag. So
So, are our hit points permanently
no.
lowered?
After a long rest, all of your hit points go back to normal.
Oh, thank God.
Yes. No, the temporary hit point is erased.
I should probably fix that
following
for
a
him
long rest.
before he comes back. He's really confused.
He won't remember.
Yeah. He'll just be like, what?
I think the last time he really played, you guys were in the swamp.
I'm pretty sure he can do whatever he wants. He will never notice. Give me the correct level.
Yes.
Alright. Well,
No.
He can level himself later.
Well, he keeps asking me to level him, but I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, I understand. So, you all
we rest.
get a good night's rest. The next morning, y'all wake up, ready to go. Breakfast has been served, laid out on the table. Harris can be found in your living room-like area, kind of sitting with his elbows on his knees, hunched over, just kind of watching the fire.
So, should we talk to Harris some more about what it is he's wanting to do, or what it is that they're facing? Because I'm thinking that that's a pretty pressing situation that we need to.
Nah, we should just stare at him.
Well, alright. Fearless is gonna go into the living room and sort of settle in and say, I hope you had a nice night.
It was.
Can you tell me a little more about what's been going on in your neck of the woods?
It's definitely a nicer night than sleeping in the woods, so I offer you my gratitude for that. As far as what's been going on, things are less organized out there than they are here. So we tend to move in bands and packs, I suppose you could say. Word hadn't reached me until rumor began to come down that Rodin and his men had been attacked by a pack of orcs. They didn't use the term orcs. They weren't familiar with what they were, but being from the prime material plane as well, once they described these large hulking green creatures, I assumed rifts happen between the planes. You know, it's not unheard of, so I thought this was an accident, and we went to go see if we could aid them in some way, but by the time we got there, it was too late. The few stragglers that we found who managed to make it away, they said that there have been strange creatures out there as well. There was some. Rodin was the leader of the Lothari. There was some debate about who would take over and what to do next and where we should go. The Queen of Air and Darkness is very different. She rules distantly, we should say. So no one saw really any point of going to appeal for her. You can never make it past the city gates, much less to get an audience with her. So they suggested that I come to the Autumn Court. I was dubious, but I had nothing to lose either. But I am once again unsurprised to find that the Queen locks herself away in her tower and preoccupies herself with what she feels is the most important conflict in the land and leaves her people to figure out the rest. So.
Well, we can maybe help with at least. So, what are you guys trying to do? Are you trying to get to somewhere safe? Are you trying to defeat these orcs and these creatures, or what is the deal?
Most in the Feywild, and you may have found this to be true, tend to be primarily concerned with their own agenda and whatever goal they are seeking to accomplish. I do not share that sentiment. My goal is to once again restore safety to the Winter Court. And if nobody else is going to do it, then damn it, I'll do it myself.
Okay, so, but I mean, in this immediate moment, what is needed? What is going on that, I mean, aside from the orc and strange creature attack? I mean, are you trying to get your people to somewhere safer, or are you trying, what is the immediate goal?
My people don't run. My people.
I'm gonna insight check the hell out of that.
Stand by.
Okay, so Rafferty is clearly in the living room now.
Rafferty shows up after looking for his bag of trinkets all night.
16.
He seems honest. He is ready to stand and fight.
This guy's a straight shooter, guys.
Thanks, Raph. I appreciate that. Fearless is gonna give Raph a little side eye. Like,
We move as a band, as a pack, and they have moved onto our territory, and they are, perhaps you're unfamiliar with orcs and the way that they
no,
roam.
we're not unfamiliar with orcs. and how
Then
they
you're
roam.
aware that they come in and they will set their camp and they will continue to expand and take anything that they can and kill anyone that gets in their way. I see no alternative than to push them back.
No, I agree. Okay, so your immediate goal is to get
Kill
rid of
them.
the.
Is to kill every damn one I can find.
Okay. Well,
Genocide.
we can help. Apparently, that's
Apparently.
a good idea. But and I
We're
think
good
that-
at genocide, you know.
It's just what we do.
I've had a little experience with that.
Here, have my card. The Academy. Genocide.
The living room?
I don't know.
Is anybody else?
I mean, Rafferty.
Besides Rafferty, any your list?
Anybody else hanging out with him?
Dobby does.
I'm
Oh,
not.
I guess Dobby must be in there too then.
No, I'm in my little temple thing.
Rafferty heard voices and came. It was like, oh, they're awake. As the only person who stays up all night.
You probably hear me singing in the other room.
Oh dear God. So I guess in the absence of Dobby, your list is the next.
Oh, there's no absence of Davi. I'm just not physically
Ever.
in the room.
Anyway, no. So, but is anybody else in there? Like Theo, Craig, Jackie? Is any of you?
Rafferty.
Wait, where are you?
In the living room talking to Harris.
Talking to Harris.
Okay, I'm in the library.
Arrested.
He's in the library.
We're supposed to be leaving today.
Sleeping in.
I mean,
Still in the library.
Just you.
y'all are the most. Okay, I am going to get up and I'm going to open the library door and I'm going to go. Would you like to join us? Okay.
What?
Get your nose out of a book.
I'm doing important things. What's going on? What are we doing?
Yes, I know. We have important things to do, though. You can worry about your dragon later.
Are we leaving?
A few hundred years before it's even a big deal. So let's go.
Maybe not. But where are we leaving? Like leaving?
Well, I mean, I feel like since the orcs are taking over this man's area, and he came seeking help to get rid of the threat, and we said we would go with him.
Have we already defeated Orcus?
Nope.
No, God, no.
Jesus. We're actually level 15 now. You've got a lot of character upgrading to do.
You know, and since we have offered our assistance, and it also parallels with some of our own goals, since there are strange creatures also with these orcs, I think it behooves us to move quickly.
So, super quick catch-up time for Sezneg. Went to the swamp, found a lot of orcus crap, saw the swamp kind of being transformed and covered in bone meal. Tried to get back quickly by going into the Feydark, found a group of vampire-looking people who are actually Eladrin, who are just really bat people. They took you into the Feydark and showed you where all of these demons are. You got ambushed, ran away, but then they men in blacked you, so only Davi and Urlith remember that there are demons in the Feydark.
I'll be right back. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so Harris looks as you're having this conversation. He goes, listen, you are under no obligation to come with me, but I will be leaving today. Word has carried that the Autumn Queen suddenly gave a damn about her people because there were demons showing up and probably messing with a bit of her influence over her world, to my understanding. So I came. I came against my best judgment. But I have been here long enough to know that every group in this place is caught in their own little legend, their own little paradigm, their own little set of goals, and very rarely ventures outside of their own little box. So if you have your own things going on, I understand, but I cannot continue to waste my time while people are dying.
No, and I am of the mind, and I actually feel like your goals are parallel with our particular goals, since we are supposed to be finding out as much about this demon incursion and orc incursion as possible. And I'm gonna look pointedly at Kag.
Am I in the room? I don't know if I followed you.
Standing in the library doorway at this point.
Okay, I'm currently taking books that are important to me and like putting them in our portable hole. As I'm like, yeah, okay.
With all
like
the other books that are
I've
still in
Cog
there.
has clearly not heard anything she said.